Good morning, brother.
Good morning, brother G. Good morning. Good morning, viewing audience, listening audience. Welcome to Real Talk TV. Um, Simulating this Tuesday, and it's not your normal programming, your normal
Right,
TV show.
right.
We get into the discussion, get into the know of everything.
Yes.
It's open mic. If you wanna get in on some of the conversation, you can reach us at 337-983-6080. We will open the phone lines this morning, but we're going to touch on all kind of topics and fields. Some might not like, some
Right.
might not like the topic, some might not like the fields.
What this is, though, what's the name of the show, Brother
Real
Keith?
talk.
Real talk with a E-R-E-E.
But you know, brother J, our goals, our objectives is not to dumb it down. What's
Right.
going on? You know, is our goal and our objective is to bring to the people the real information, the truth, the facts,
Mhm.
the truth, the facts. We're gonna touch a little bit on the debate from the mayor's president's race here in Lafayette.
Mhm.
The the candidate forum for city and
Mhm.
parish. Those candidates. We're gonna touch on the governor's race. We're gonna touch on a little bit of
Governor.
everything because they got a lot of things going on. And then I even also want to bring some aspect feels to the entertainment world.
Mhm.
Um, and I got to thank Brother Jay for producing these shows for us because there's a lot I be having to say, and I
So,
don't. I'm not.
so we could be a little bit arrogant about it and obnoxious and let's say arrogant in the sense that how many shows we do? We do a bunch,
Oh,
right?
we do a bunch. A
Right.
bunch.
And again, I'm going to say always take advantage of these platforms. Shout out to AOC Community Media. That's the Cox 15 LUS 3. Consider becoming a member or supporting it. Consider being part of the other platform that you're on, on another radio station. And, support the people who are trying to put on different ideas, not the mainstream ideas. Because I glossed over it. And since you said something about the governor's race, Brother Keith, uh, the news glossed over some things, significant issues that concern the black community. I saw where channel, the Clear White TV channel 10, sat down the other day with uh, they sat down the other day with Attorney General Jeff Landry. Well, that's Cox 16 right now. We see him on the Teleview #1 is all, but we on Cox 16. Shout out to William, does such an excellent job. He does try to get us on. But anyway, Channel 10, KLFY TV, Channel 10, sat down and did that interview with the governor. And it's so weak that none of the questions that concern the black community is being asked just for the consumption of others. What Jeff Landry is all about himself, what he want to do and how he not saying what all the citizens of Louisiana want to do. And, he want to out DeSantis or out Trump, everybody at every turn of the wheel. So I don't know. I want to title this particular show, "Season of the Races," and I'm gonna tell you why. "Season of the Races," and I'm gonna let you go full forward, Brother Keith. But when you say "Season of the Races," because this is the person who Jeff Landry is,
And,
a person who's trying to turn back the hands of time in the black community. Granted that Louisiana has a large black population, granted that we're being stymied at every effort, granted that we have some collaborators within our own community that help empower these people like Donald Trump and Jeff Landry, and nobody want to say a damn thing about how racist Jeff Landry is. And he is a racist. If you act like a racist, walk like a racist, talk like a racist, you are a racist. And that, when you are a racist, that does not serve the best interest of the black community. I'm just saying that. I want to let you go ahead, my brother.
oh yeah, brother J. And this the thing is a lot of questions that should be asked at these candidate forums right now because we know um back probably when I was younger growing up when my parents and grandparents was voting um liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican meant meant a lot at that time.
Right.
But then when the parties start changing and you start going to calling a certain group GOP mega, and then another group woke, you know, the Democratic Party, the liberals, progressives of the Democratic Party is supposed to be woke people.
Right.
Now, if you labeled woke people, if you listen to the label, or if you listen to the ones that's calling it woke, they're gonna say it's a bad thing. What I wanted to put out is the white supremacists of the Republican Party, the racists, and I'm not endorsing no one party, but the racists make America great again crowd. They'll tell you that wokeness is bad. Wokeness is supposed to be bad. But the people that's viewing and listening in today, I want y'all to understand one thing. They say wokeness is bad because wokeness, the people that are woke understand where their negative actions are. Understand what we've been getting for years.
There's an example of wokeness right here.
Correct.
Black folks are awakened to the Louisiana State Police killing this man, Ronald Green, on the side of the road. Killing him dead. He can't come home to his mother. He can't come home to his family. That's why you see his mother, Miss Mona Harden, who I happened to meet a couple of times and brought up on the radio. That's why she feels the way it is. White supremacy. And this lady was more mainstream than anybody else could be. And she see when Jeff Landry, Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, all the MAGA-loving people look at us and say, them people too woke. Why? We awaken. Wokeness means awaken to your racism. And you don't want to accept that. So what you do, you take the narrative, try to turn it upside on its head, and try to make it a negative. So when black folks, certain black folks see this, they say, well, I don't want to be wokeness because my boss could get mad at my all-field job. The whole point is this could happen to you.
Correct.
Louisiana State Police executing a young brother on the side of the road.
And you know, the sad thing about it, the sad part about it, is when a black officer do it. This what I want. When an African American officer do it, when a black officer do it, they get charged. When it's a set of black officers, they get charged. But when it's the white race, they have to go through all this investigation. But when it's a black officer, the minute it happens, he get charged. And then you have officers within the police department, and I'm talking about, let's say here in Lafayette, for example, you have officers in the police department that's been retaliated against, discriminated against, because they don't want to fall into covering up the wrongdoing, or they bringing out the wrongdoing. So they be retaliated against, and you hear it from officers, and I'm not gonna name some officers. You hear from officers, and they gonna say they let you know that in the police department is no diversity.
Well, in Lafayette, and you could wonder why we have people who being advised, who was mentored by another racist. You see your mayor president, Josh Guillory, when he was campaigning for office, he had his good buddy, his mentor. I call him his mentor because there's a number of pictures with Rudy Giuliani, who basically was trying to steal black votes when black folk voted overwhelmingly for their candidate for president, whether you like that candidate or not. black folks overwhelmingly voted for their candidate, right? But Rudy Giuliani went on national TV and said these two black women, these two election workers were some people engaging in some illegal, crooked stuff. So to put the spotlight on these two sisters, then he want to add some fire onto the pile and say they were passing around like they were passing some heroin or some type of dope or even some crack vials, whatever.
No.
Well, that's the person. This mayor president takes his marching orders from that party, and that's the problem. A season of racism.
Correct. And I want to take some points as to your conversation. The statements you made just now, Brother J.
Yes, sir.
These two black election workers, he didn't only lie on them. He, from his statements, from what he put out there, caused them to be tormented.
Yeah, threatening to be killed.
Threatened to where they had to leave their neighborhood. They had to leave their home because of what these mega politicians are doing. And then that opens the door for this. Some say you might be too harsh. Or some say you go around attacking politicians of your own kind. But I want to put it like this, Brother G. If you sit in an elected seat, no matter if you're white, black, purple, green, or orange, if you sit in an elected seat and you can cast a vote, and whichever way you cast your vote, you can either hurt your community or you can either help your community. And you straddle the fence and hurt your community, I have a problem with that. And any person who don't have a problem with it need their head examined.
Right.
And not just with casting your vote to the organizations, the groups out there that's fighting, so-called fighting for rights, fighting for fairness, fighting for justice. Especially here in this area, that Acadiana region. We need to really focus on what our fight is.
And even with this picture right here, and I hear others say, well, Brother Jay, we got to sit down at the table. If you don't sit down at the table with the same people that's treating you bad, you won't get nothing. I mean, we always been handed crumbs. We survived this. I guess we'll survive the Donald Trump era. We'll survive the Ron DeSantis. We even survived the Rudy Giuliani. But we can't survive our own black community selling us out. I'm saying this, if we got good, like-minded, progressive people who want to help the black community do better, educate better, move the needle, even let alone for the whole state of Louisiana, we need to support those people, right? But you can't have someone telling you, close your mouth, don't speak about the person I'm going to work for, my master, who I'm going to serve, because you hurting the black community by talking bad about that person who's coming against the black community. You know, just like the Trump lovers was telling other black folks, don't talk bad about Trump. The Ron DeSantis people were telling other black folks, other black Ron DeSantis support, don't talk bad about Ron DeSantis. Now we're going to probably have people telling us don't talk bad about our mayor president, Josh Gilroy, because when you talk bad about him, you're hurting the black folks he's trying to help. But if he's just helping a few black folks, he's not helping the whole community move forward. That's a problem.
Hey, I want to say this, Brother G. You know, when Trump ran in 2016, what I want y'all to do is go back and watch some of these clips. When Trump ran in 2016, he was saying some true things, but he was only saying it to get the vote
Right.
of that certain kind of people. And he didn't follow and see what he was going to do to him. But
Well, he's not the smartest person in the
one thing,
field.
one thing
He's the symbol of all that racism. That's all he is.
one thing I want to bring out at one of his campaigns. One thing I looked at the clip where he had a crowd of African American people, and he got up. He was on the mic at the podium and said, "Black people built this country. African American people built this country. We did. We built this country." And I'm gonna say this: African American leaders, politicians, we've been sitting at the table. We've been sitting at the table since politicians, I'm a community activists such as Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. There's so many, and I want to recognize their efforts because they did push us a lot closer to where we needed to be to fairness. But god damn, how long we gonna sit at the table and negotiate,
right,
and walk away with
I mean,
nothing?
you take the example of all the criticism of all the different things going on the north side of Lafayette concerning growth and development in the community, right? Then you could use that in every neighborhood in every community in the state of Louisiana. You could leave in my hometown of New Iberia. It's the same thing. The West End. You get the same promises year after year. And even though we want to participate in the political process, what sinks into the community when we have the good numbers to make a change, voter apathy. And people say, well, they're turned off. They don't want to vote because the person they elected is not serving their community. Even if you're not, if you the lone wolf. And I keep saying, look what happened in Tennessee with the two brothers. They still have an uphill fight. But they made a statement, went nationwide and garnered. Look what happened in Alabama, where black folk came to the rescue of each other. We don't have that in our communities here in Louisiana, in South Louisiana. We all should have been over there. I mean, the whole state of Louisiana, even New Orleans area, everybody should have been in North Louisiana for Ronald Green. Because Ronald Green is a symbol of what's wrong with the state of Louisiana.
And I'm gonna say this. I want to say this. I'm glad you bring up the Ronald Green situation because state trooper called Cavalier, the former state trooper,
right?
He came out and disclosed what was going on in the state police. What happened? How things unfolded. He turned down some money to hush money, keep him quiet.
Or to go away as a settlement for the wrongful termination of him.
Yeah, to go away. He turned it down. And he's suing the state police right now. And I ain't seen not one justice group or one civil rights group such as the NAACP, which they supposed to have a national defense fund. I
know the one in Baton Rouge was taking the lead. The one in Baton Rouge is different under different leadership.
Okay.
And they stand with the Ronald Green family, but I haven't seen them do nothing significant on the call Cavalier, which is directly related to Ronald Green.
And that's what I wanted to do, because a lot of people make my comments towards the Ronald Green case, but I want to single out the Ronald Green case from the Carl Cavalier. Fighting for justice for Ronald Green is one thing, and awesome, great. But you also have to support the right doing.
Right.
is not one organization that picked up the torch and said, "Call Cavalier. We're gonna back you up 100%. We're gonna help you 100%. We gonna raise money to find you an attorney from wherever, since we can't get one here
Right.
in the state of Louisiana."
You know, and I we got to give the brother some credit and credit. Okay, brother Darrell Muhammad, sister Khadijah, and all those who've been on this end, doing some things in support of brother Carl Cavalier, brother Wallace Senegal, and all those that have been supporting him. One of the things that I would hope that Attorney Benjamin Crump, and it's not so much I'm a big proponent of Attorney Crump, is that he brings a lot of light onto a subject. He was just down there in the Ronald Green case calling for a federal indictment of these officers, which they needed. And I think the same should hold true, that those persons who are highlighted on that certain level should be able to come out for Brother Carl Cavalier. But I like his independent. Carl Cavalier, I think he got some better things on the horizon, and we just got to support the brother, because guess what? At the end of the day, we can't support we want good law enforcement in our community, and we want people who look like us being part of law enforcement to deal with us on the side of the road in a fair way. But we can't have good officers like that, Carl Cavalier, getting treated bad because he's outing the racist system that he was working for. You know, as long as the brother is stepping forward and standing on truth, we should support him.
And Brother J, I'm gonna say this. Either is no we want justice, we gonna fight for justice, we doing the right thing. And condoning or having a deaf ear or blind eye to what's really going on. And then when other activists or other people that want to see justice in the community start putting out the wrongdoing, and start speaking the truth, then you go in attack mode that he's attacking this one, attacking.
Yeah, I mean, they're focusing more on your criticism of what groups not doing than it focuses on the greater issue.
You know, Brother J, there's a saying.
That's crazy.
There's a saying that say, if somebody speaks something of the truth and it defends you, and if the shoe fit, wear that mean what was said, it touch on what it really is.
Right.
You know, and I'm just saying we gotta, as a culture of people, and if you in the fight, to really get justice, if you in the fight to really move us along, well, let's move us along. But if you not in a fight for that, if you're not in a fight for justice, if you're not in a fight to move us along, well, don't treat us to the doggy bag.
Well, that's consistently with every community in the state of Louisiana. Is last in everything. And when you have the interview with Jeff Landry that he want to take Louisiana like other states, the state he has in mind is Florida, and he don't have the prosperous side of Florida. He has the Ron DeSantis side that's running good businesses and running people away from Florida, and he might take it to past DeSantis, because we got people like him who, and he worked for Sheriff Charles Fusilier, who was one of the biggest known racists that I know when I lived in St. Martin Parish, and that's one of his mentors. So that tells you a lot about him. But like I said, we got the numbers to stymie the even if he was elected. I'm just saying, I'm not giving up But my fight will always be about white supremacy. And the problem,
Correct.
I'm gonna criticize our so-called black elected leadership and our black dignitaries and our black groups. A lot of them scared to say the word racism. A lot of them scared to say the word white supremacy. And that is the order in the state of Louisiana. Just look at the condition of the state. It's nothing I did or Key did that made the state be like that. Is the issue with corruption and racism that's been plaguing Louisiana for the longest since its existence.
And then, Brother Jay, we got activists. We got community leaders that's got a career. Got a career in bashing these politicians, these white supremacists that we talking about.
Right.
But yet on the other end, on the other end, gotta watch what they say or watch what they do.
They'll serve that master in a minute.
Oh, you gotta watch what they say, gotta watch what they do because they didn't collected a grant or they collecting money from like Clay Higgins.
Oh yeah, they got some Clay Higgins lover. They love a tough talking Caucasian who spouts racism, coded racism words out of his mouth. He's gonna round up all the so-called people that's doing crime, but he's focusing on one group of crime, but he's not rounding up nobody in River Ranch, and he won't come and talk to the black community and have an open debate about racism. Those like him, they won't come. We had Jeff Landry did not want to attend the last governor's forum because the Urban League was there. The Urban League, you straight to the Urban League. The Urban League is one of the most nonchalant, progressive organizations that don't, will give you. I mean, they're not even hard like some of these other groups. But you won't attend them and say because of they were there. So Jeff Landry is showing how racist he is. He won't even accept no middle of the road group talking to him and having a dialogue. So my point is I don't want to have dialogue with racists. They might be governing me. They might be making laws to govern me. But as long as I know and my children and my relatives know what a racist is, they could deal with those people. Because we survived all of that. We survived that up to this timeline in history. We just got to identify these white supremacists and these racist people who's making policies, making conditions bad for the community.
And then Brother J, not only making policies and making decisions that's bad, getting our people and splitting us against one another.
They're good at that because we got people who work for the CIA or work for some governmental agency that used to interrogate prisoners, and they know how to manipulate communities against each other. We know who they are, but I'm just saying people need to recognize what's going on in their community. We got manipulation even in the activist level. They manipulate certain activists against each other and say, oh, that person is not doing something. And then they'll even throw the open dope, like, let's go to a protest while we having dinner with the boss man somewhere else, And
I'm gonna say this, I always talk about the Trayford Pellerin, cause I feel the case was done bad. All our community leaders and politicians, we said we was gonna get justice for Trayford.
We just got a call from a caller. We on channel 16 on Cox.
Yeah. Well, let me before I talk about the Trayford Pellerin case. You're listening to and watching Real Talk TV live. We on Cox 16, LUS 4, Acadiana Open Channel. And the views and opinions don't reflect those businesses. Yeah. This is our straight views and opinions. And if you want to get in contact with us, the number is
on the screen.
337-983-6080.
Every time I get a alert from these different groups, somebody saying something about Rudy Giuliani, woe is him. America's mayor is America's racist now,
Correct.
And we don't want to deal with stuff like that. And we keep saying that's politics, and we keep using the word partisan. What is partisan politics? I don't think there's such an animal.
It's no such thing as partisan
That's a way to
politics.
get people like disinterested and say, "Oh, but that's just partisan politics." No,
correct.
It's white supremacy and racism when
no
they're
such
saying.
thing.
Or you could even use the word progressive, liberal, conservative. What is a conservative? Conservative now. What is the Republican Party now?
MAGA.
MAGA. And what is the MAGA crowd closer to? White supremacists. White supremacists. All the people that being sent up from January, the January insurrection. And look at what their ideology was. And I want to go back into this before we go back into this graphic right here. I'm going to pull up Brother Keith that shows, let's see, it's.
And while we,
pull up that graphic.
While we speaking of that,
okay, let me take this graphic off and we go run.
If these politicians, this party that we talking about, the MAGA party, they say things openly, right. No filter,
right?
And
they'll say some coded words. Some of them, we got the mayor president say the coded words, right?
Yeah, coded words, but some of them, openly, and with no remorse.
That graphic right there is that group that was tweeted out now on the Twitter, formerly known, well now it's formerly known as Twitter, it's X, where you have the Republicans Attorney General Association openly push for people to go to Washington, D.C. for that January 6th. They actually financed some of the people that went. So I'm asking, why the Fed's not looking at Jeff Landry? Jeff Landry was the chairman of that group. There's many articles concerning Jeff Landry being a part of that. There's also a new article, I don't know if you have it about Jeff Landry being accused of some ethics violations.
Yeah, I've seen that. The ethics board is on him. But and not just Jeff Landry, we got delegations in Washington. We got congressmen, senators in Washington.
Steve Scalise, that's another clown. Apparently he didn't know. Find out he didn't have his coming to Jesus moment when he saw that person that shot him. He would change and try to be a little bit more open minded about different people and gun violence, but he openly supports the gun lobbyists and so forth. And Louisiana's one of the highest states with the statistic concerning gun violence and murder.
I watched the debate on the Senate floor over a bill for gun violence, and Senator Kennedy. Senator Kennedy.
Like Mr. Kevin, that's somebody who's intelligent but plays dumb.
Senator Kennedy went
to meet
back
his
to
people
back,
where they at.
not to pass gun legislations, even though there's people walking in Dollar Generals, shopping malls, you name it. You name a place, they going. And just shooting up everybody. And not just one set of people. Shooting up everybody. But
that the person that shot those people in that was Jacksonville.
Jacksonville
shot those that racist young man, and you've seen more and more of them come out the woodworks lately. We shot those 3 people, innocent people, at the Dollar General store. Well, with those type of weapons, well, this is what the Jeff Landrys of this state want, But he want to get tough on crime. He want everybody to have a gun in the gumbo pot, but he want to lock up everybody for other reasons,
And I want to get back to the Trayford Pellerin case. What I was saying earlier, our community leaders, certain organizations, elected officials, we ain't letting that one slide. That's not one that's gonna go away. We ain't letting it slide. No, we didn't let it slide. No, we didn't let it slide. But we let them see it was justified when they had a lot of things in the investigation that was shady, shaky. We let it get justified. And we need to, as a people, and if you notice, when I speak, I don't say they, them, or list a certain group or organization need to. I say we, because we all the same people. So if you fail in doing something, if you fail in doing something, or if your organization fail in doing something or getting justice, I take the fall too, along with you, because we all the same people fighting for the same thing. If we all fight for justice and fairness, if we all fight for equalness. So I take the fall too. So that's why I say we need to step it up. We need to become more aggressive, become more arrogant, demand more.
Yeah.
And when I say aggressive, I'm not talking about being violent. Demand more.
Yeah. The young brothers in Tennessee, and they were polite. They were polite, but not even that movement in the Louisiana legislative body.
None. We don't have a politician to where it's a super majority here, and it was a super majority in Tennessee, and we don't have that kind. No. We don't have them kind of people sitting in the Louisiana House of Representatives that's gonna openly say if y'all not going to speak on it, if y'all not going to speak on what my district need, if y'all not going to speak on what my people need, well, then we going to shut it down. We going to shut it down. Ain't no business being done. And I respect Justin Pearson and
other Justin
and the other Justin and Justin for standing up to that supermajority in Tennessee. Setting the tone for House of Representatives all over the United States.
You know, the Louisiana legislative body it reflects more of one big old plantation. One big plantation, with a big building that points up to the sky, and we see some of our brothers go up in there with their suitcase, and the only thing the plantation might be paying a little bit more than it was paying back in slave days, and that's the problem with going on in Baton Rouge.
We have to stop. We have to stop allowing our adversaries. My bad. We have to stop allowing our adversaries to play monopoly with us.
Yes.
To use us when they can. And Lafayette brought a position where the name I'm really, because but it was no other city
had that type of.
It had that type of.
I thought universities had that kind of title.
Yeah, had that type of title after doing my research. Lafayette is the only city that had that type of.
Sounds like some type of word title you get out of a plantation.
Yeah, or department. Chief of Minority Affairs. Mm-hmm. First Chief of Minority Affairs position, department, and it was an African American was appointed to that position, which I thought it should have been a board. I think that position needs to be a board.
Why not make that position name assistant? Like we see in D.C. when you have let's say what's the congressman from Louisiana that was helping
like Cravens.
That should have been named a title. Even the symbolism of the name in this day and age is it's more like a plantation type wording. But that's the South, and that's the plantation mentality that these gatekeepers have.
And to finish, is he was an African American appointed to that position, a black man, and we all know that he resigned. I'm not gonna say fired because I don't. It's not facts to me that he was fired, which I'm not giving him any credit though. But he resigned his post according to the Human Resource Department at LCG. And we know possibly somebody might fill that position. Somebody might fill that position. And guess what? We know whoever fill that position going to be another prominent person in the black community. Maybe somebody part of the civil rights organization.
Well, let's hope he the mayor president, just like everybody else, maybe after all, I don't think the dust could settle here in America where the MAGA politics could go away or the corruption could go away. But
as
the community needs to go forward. In spite of all this racism and corruption going on in the community, and then having people come and tell us every 4 or 5 years when we have these big elections, because you got races all over the place.
And I'm gonna say this, Brother J. As an African American, as a black man, and I just said a few minutes ago that the man thinks we need to be aggressive. And whoever that position is offered to in the black community, whoever that position is offered to, if it had to be me, I'd turn it down.
Well, why not
get rid of it?
Why not give it to Rudy?
Yeah,
he's out of a job.
Get rid of that department.
Why not give it to Rudy? Rudy Giuliani, seriously. I know. Well, give it to Rudy. Rudy needs the money, and Rudy came down and mentored and raised funds for him. So why not give that job to Rudy? And Rudy would actually do an excellent job in the description. He would get his Negroes together.
Hey,
that's those titles mean. I'm that get my Negro together title.
Hey, I bet you, Brother J. I guarantee you, second to none.
Okay. Well,
if every black person that's offered that position would turn it down, and he wouldn't, and nobody would go and fill it, fill a position.
Yeah, actually,
I bet you they would look at it like, oh man, they're serious.
Well,
they're not joking.
Actually, if it's not doing anything to move the needle, because you had let's say Brother Harvin was there, but we had someone they brought in as a progressive police chief after the Trayford Pellerin debacle with Lafayette City Police, but everybody thought they were on the right road to help alleviate stuff. But look what happened.
But
the chief minority officer didn't even stand up and say, "Look, if you fire this man for no reason, granted all the statistics, I'm gonna step down." He didn't stand up for the chief.
Cause I want to,
so that lets you know how they playing black folks in this town. They playing them like a good old domino game, or chess game, or even some checkers.
That's why I say it's time to stop playing Monopoly with our people, and not just and it's not just them. It's some of us too. We allowed them to use us to play Monopoly with our people. Yeah, and Chief Glover, former Chief Thomas Glover, Concerned Community Activist Group, which is the group outside these shows that go out there and fight, that I'm a part of. One of our members sat on the committee in selecting Chief Thomas Glover as the chief of police here in Lafayette. One of our members, concerned community activists, played a big role because we examined his record. We examined his ideology. And he was fair not only to one side of the community. Even though he was an African American chief, he treated the white community or the Caucasian, the south side of Lafayette, just as he did on the north side. And I think we do have a caller, folks. We do have a caller.
Welcome, caller.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, guys. Y'all great, y'all. I thought y'all thought this city had a burn ban on Louisiana, and I think y'all set a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They,
Now I got
they
you. You
might
scared
give.
me, brother, because I didn't want to
Damn.
run into one of them grass fires.
No, we didn't want to. And we didn't
But y'all got
light
it.
a pit. We didn't light a pit on yesterday neither. We put it in
Yeah, but
oven.
y'all got it.
That'll be profiling if you say we like pits in our community.
Great show. You was talking about Louisiana and Baton Rouge and all that, but you know why we are last in everything?
Mhm.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Mississippi guys come from Mississippi. They hook up their trucks with them trailers, them trailer trash, and they come to Louisiana with the same type, whatever they do in Mississippi, bring it in Louisiana, and that's what's been happening.
Yeah.
That's why we can't get nothing done.
Correct.
Yes. Yes. So, what you think about the whole debacle with and I know we roll hard on that so-called position, chief minority or whatever liaison with the community, and that's almost like a modern day plantation namesake. I know some people probably meant good or bad, but wouldn't it be better to say the last previous and we can name him Brother Harbin was an advisor to for community affairs. Name that title, give him a title with some, not something mundane that he couldn't even use that position to stand up for the person they fired for the chief, you know? So that's almost like an insult to your intelligence when you start seeing those type of titles and those type of positions being filled by some of our people.
Well, I'm gonna start from the beginning,
Okay.
being that it's election time.
Yes.
When he ran for mayor president, Harmon, I voted for him, thinking I was doing something right,
Right.
to show that we got a strong supporter for blacks. I didn't know he was a black vote, and Uncle Tom for the administration that let him go
Mhm.
or hired him. And that chief of minority affair, all that was, I'm not going to deal with the blacks. You deal with them and tell me what they want, and if I feel like it, I'll let you know. And that's what happened.
Wow. Wow. And it's a sad thing in the community that should be making the news. Like that's all we have in our community. Those type of headlines, and when they got headlines in the MAGA crowd every day, every day.
And Carl, I want to say this. I'm glad you brought that up because I just got through saying that we got to stop playing Monopoly with one another. Our leaders, the dignitary, the African American dignitary, the black dignitaries out there. We got to stop playing Monopoly with our people and allowing these people to use us to lead our people to something different. The mayor president. What has the mayor president did for the North Side community? You don't see him come to the North Side community when they have a major catastrophic event that goes on, or when some major emergency goes on. You don't see him come to the North Side. Matter of fact, what he did was took some employees away. What he did was cut some services to the North Side. But yet, he's allowed to continue to show up when good things going on. he's allowed to continue to make a case to the black community through black community leaders. Now,
But you want my opinion about
Yes,
something?
sir.
go ahead, caller.
When he went to so see, we don't know that rehab. When he came back, he should have said, "Well, I messed up, and I'm gonna resign."
I'm gonna
But
say
you think
this.
he did that?
I'm gonna say this, caller. Yeah, you know what? He should have said he messed up, he resigned. But no, he didn't have to say it. The Home Rule Charter outlines certain rules and regulations. And the people, there's 5 city councilmen, 5 parish councilmen. The people we elected and put in that position to do a job and follow the home, it's just like President Trump. If President Trump couldn't follow, because President Trump didn't follow the Constitution and broke some laws, he's being brought into court right now. Now here in Lafayette, we got the Home Rule Charter. That's the law of the land for the city and parish of Lafayette. That's the law of the land. And we elected these 10 people to abide by that charter and follow that charter. So they should have did their jobs in removing him at that time. They should have did their jobs and used that authority they had. You know? And I'm not going to say our African American councilmen didn't do anything, because from my understanding they had the discussion but didn't have the votes. Nobody wanted, because of the threat for fines and jail time. Nobody wanted to fill the position.
That sounds like some Giuliani moves anyway.
Yeah.
But well, look, I know our time is running down.
but-
Go ahead,
But Keith,
go ahead.
I'm gonna have to correct you. He's a former president. He's not a president.
Oh
President Trump.
yeah. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Don't say that, because people already believe
Yeah.
he never lost the election.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
news media sat down with Jeff Landry, KLY TV Channel 10, and they call themselves some crack reporters. I guess they on crack or something. They never asked him the question, do you believe the election was stolen? Ask him that question. You know, I'm saying the local news media, if you listen, ask them that question, since you have access to Jeff Landry, who won't come on the black community, probably won't come on none of the shows we do, you know. Ask him that question if you believe the election was stolen. So I won't close with that, my brother. And I know time is winding down for us.
yeah, thank you for accepting my call.
Thank you
Peace
for
out.
calling, caller.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right then.
But I want to say this.
Say this about Brother Wise, ask you about the election.
I'm
early
going
vote.
there now. There's a candidate in the mayor president's race right now that's running through our community, trying to garner the black votes. But when asked the question, do she defile white supremacy, or do she defile some of the statements that these mega politicians are making, she couldn't give a yes or no answer. She couldn't give a yes or no answer.
And the other thing about the early
we
voting.
have to check that out.
The early
And
voting for
early
Aurora.
voting.
We have 1
Remember
minute.
to go and early vote. You can early vote now at the Martin Luther King Center. Something that was supported by Pat Lewis, and Pat Lewis put up a ordinance to open the Martin Luther King Center as an early voting site in August 18 of 2020. But a candidate that's running in the 44 race said that that was a lie. I mean, it's on Lafayette Consolidated Government website. You can go and pull up that ordinance. Pat Lewis opened the MLK Center.
Well, Brother Keith, we got to log off because our time is
Correct.
running down. I appreciate you, man.
Thank
we
y'all
do
for
this thing.
tuning and joining in. Tell Not Tuesday coming, but the following Tuesday we'll be back.